Welcome back. Today I'm going to put the tires back on the rims for this 84 Big Red. Now, I said this in the last video where I removed them. I don't like doing small tires. I don't really have that good of equipment for it, and I don't do it that often, so I'm not very good at it. But I'll let you watch me struggle along with reinstalling these. But I'm going to start out with, you got to check these rims out. I got these back from the powder coater, and I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but these look freaking awesome. Got a good shine to them. They're pretty close to factory color, not perfect, but pretty close. They look real good. One of the things you might notice down in here, the setup's going to be the same as removal, but in order to try to not wreck the finish on the rim, I've put a rubber piece of inner tube over top of the tire changer, and the part that's going to sit down in here is rubber coated as well. So I'll go ahead, get this set up, and show you what's going on. So the first thing that I've got to do is put a valve stem in. The valve stem goes down inside of this hole here. So I'm just going to go ahead and insert this from the back side. This is a rather short, stubby valve stem for four-wheelers, three-wheelers, lawnmowers, things like that. Next part here is to actually install the I'm going to have to take it off of this thing for this part. Because this rim is so small, I have to actually do this one on the floor. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be able to do this all one-handed and not scratch the tire up. So the first thing that we're going to do, and I'm going to thread this piece on, then I'm going to use a screwdriver with a nice soft handle so I don't mar the rim up, and I'll use that between this tool and I'll pop it into place. So I'll set you up on the back side here, take our screwdriver, pop it in place here, and watch that just kind of snap in. And she snapped in. So the valve stem is now installed, and we'll put this back on the machine. So I'll set the rim down. And this rim actually has pretty equivalent drop centers, so you could really install a tire from either side. But we're going to go from the top side here. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lubricate this tire bead. And that should make it easier to install. What I'm using is actually like a specialized tire installation lubricant. You can also use just dish soap and water if that's what if you're trying to do this at home. Now this bottom bead on a car tire, I can usually just work it around and pop it on, which we just did there. So that's good. Next we're going to take this lubricant again. I'm going to have to clean up the rim a little bit when I'm done with this, but that's alright. And I'm going to lubricate the tire again, but I'm going to try to get down kind of to the inside as much as the outside, because it's got to go on the rim over top of that. Now, this is the one that's not much fun, especially on a little tire like this. Now I've got this bar, which is supposed to ride around the tire machine and drop this in. And it makes me a little bit nervous, but I guess I'm going to have to use it. Oh boy. I'm actually going to lubricate up a little spot on the tire where I didn't think I was going to, and that's where this tool is going to slide. I do not love this. I can just see myself scratching my nicely powder coated rims. Really use like a third or fourth inch here. Oh, yuck. All right, that's on. Yeah, it sucked. I did actually nick the rim. Not where I expected to, but down in here in a different spot. What we'll do is we'll have to inflate this tire, which is also going to be a treat on a small tire like this. Now when I go to inflate it, the first thing I do is actually remove this valve stem. Pop it up, set it off to the side in a very nice clean space. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is put this air valve on here. Now if we're lucky, when I step on the pedal for air, this will just kind of start taking air, but probably not. Okay. So I couldn't really hold the camera while I was doing that, but I was just kind of working around, and you'll see this thing snap onto the bead here in a second. Now with a little tire like this, they usually tell you not to go over like 20 pounds while seating the bead, which I didn't read the sidewall. Okay, so that popping noise was the bead actually getting set. Right now we're at about 15 pounds. And this one can actually go up to 36. So I'm going to put a little bit more in it just to make sure the bead is actually really set up. So we're at about 25 right now, and you can see how round and balloony this tire is. On the machine it actually runs at 2.5 pounds. So when we let the air out, it'll flatten out quite a bit. So that's what we'll do next, is we'll take this hose off, and because this only runs at 2.5 pounds, we'll let it go totally flat. Now that it's gone totally flat, we take our valve core, which we set off to the side earlier, and reinstall it. This particular tire calls for 2.2 pounds of air, which you can do with a low pressure tire pressure gauge. They usually run from like 0 to 10 or 0 to 5 psi, but I have this digital gauge that actually reads down to 2.2. So this is what we're going to use. Okay, so right now we got nothing. Two. 2.2 psi, right where we're supposed to be. I'll grab my valve cap. Bring this tire, and you can see how flattened out this is. This is your suspension on a three-wheeler, so you don't want this thing to be overinflated. And we've got a nice flat tread pattern now. So we'll take it over to the three-wheeler and put it on. Now we're over here at the three-wheeler, so we're gonna put this thing on. When I took these off, I wasn't sure how long they'd be off for, so I just put everything back in its place. So we'll take these 4 nuts off. This three-wheeler has kind of a different apparatus that I have not really run into on any others, and that is these 2 plates. You've got one on the back side and one on the front side of the rim, and they actually sandwich it. Now I'm going to pop this off and just make sure there's no dirt or debris that's going to screw up the brand new or the freshly powder coated rim. Take the tire, set it in place, Put the outer rim in place and start installing the 4 nuts by hand. The torque spec on these wheels is 14 to 18 foot-pounds. The extension throws it off a little bit, and I don't have them snugged up yet, so this may take a second, but we're gonna go to 18. So I'm gonna snug all of them up in a crisscross pattern to where they're just snug first. Yeah, I've never torqued a tire on an ATV before, but I want to show you guys the right way to do this stuff. Okay, 18. This seems ridiculously low, but these are small bolts, so I guess it's probably right. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the first one and make sure that it is still tight. And it is. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.